what Mew is involved in, but he has been involved with murder, drug dealing, and drugs. Don't surrender. The bomb will detonate. Give USA sign so we can disarm IT. Damn it. Mew cursed when he heard the police's voice from outside. Mew, do you have another plan? Arson asked. The only way is for us to disappear from here together. Make sure no one knows we're not human, Mew replied. Isn't one of us going to fail? Dylan asked. I'll do it, Ken interjected. Let me be the last one to disappear. No, Mew answered firmly. Mother Violet told me to protect you. You must survive. I'll surrender myself to the police to disarm the bomb. And then you and your friends can escape safely. I have a hard time thinking about it, ... No, it's fine. The police won't dare to kill me, Ken said. Please don't waste my sacrifice. Hurry. Go now, Ken continued. Before leaving Mew and his friends to surrender to the police, we have to leave quickly. Mew. Once we're safe, you can save Ken, Dylan said. With no other choice, Mew and his two friends prepared to leave the house after getting a signal from Ken. Since that day, Mew and his two friends managed to escape the old house, while Ken was caught by the police. However, as Mew and his friends were leaving, they encountered many police officers guarding the back door. Mew told his friends to scatter. In the end, only Mew was chased by the police. Because his escape route was too close to a group of officers, this is why Mew was being hunted by the police, eventually taking refuge in a dormitory. Flashback and ***. Boren now entered the basement where one of Mew's associates, Ken, was captured. Mean, Hessel, and Lionel were already there. He stepped forward to stand in front of Ken. Is this your leader? He asked, holding up a photo of Mew in front of Ken's face. Ken remained silent. He left his injured subordinate behind to save himself. What a coward. He didn't leave me alone, Ken suddenly shouted, smiling hysterically. Mean sighed, watching Ken's strange behavior while sipping his coffee. Bruh. A single punch struck Ken's right cheek. Lionel punched Ken as Boren stepped back to distance himself from him. Blood poured from Ken's mouth, splattering onto the photo of Mew. Why did he come here? What was he looking for? Boren continued interrogating Ken. Ken remained silent. Why were you trying to steal documents from my superior? Ken gave a crooked smile. Hey. Ken took a pill from his pocket and put it into his mouth. Hey, spit that out. Lionel and Hessel quickly tried to force the pill out of Ken's mouth, realizing it was cyanide poison that could kill instantly. But Ken was quick, swallowing the pill before either of them could stop him. Spit it out. Ken's mouth foamed, his body convulsed as if having a seizure. Shit. Boren failed to save Ken's life because Ken had swallowed the poison too quickly. The four police officers were left frustrated, confused, and angry. Now, no one could help them gather the evidence they needed to prove Mew and his friends were guilty. Shit. Are you out of your mind? Saint cursed when Gulf asked for permission to let Mew stay at their dorm for a few days. Just for a few days. I owe him for what he did for me back in his world. That's why I have to help him. Gulf pleaded again with Saint. I don't want to hear it anymore. Just tell him to leave by dawn. Gulf turned to Jehan for help. Jehan had never seen Gulf like this before, and it softened his heart. You're the crazy one. He can barely walk. How can we just kick him out? Jehan replied. So, you want him to stay at the dorm? On the 4th floor, no less? Saint retorted sarcastically. But it's the safest place, right? Saint turned to Gulf. Do you even know what that place is? The late dorm director used to live there. What else can we do? At least he needs a few days to recover, Gulf said with a pleading expression. If we manage to get him in, that will be the safest place for him. But the door is locked, Jaehoon added, defending Gulf's plan. How about we ask Mr. Kim for help? I'm sure he'll assist us, Gulf suggested. Gulf and Jaehoon immediately went to Mr. Kim's office to request the key to the unused room on the 4th floor. At first, Mr. Kim was indifferent and had no intention of helping Gulf hide a fugitive. However, with Gulf's expression and faint tone, Mr. Kim eventually handed over the key with the condition that they couldn't hide the fugitive for too long. Once Mr. Kim handed over the key, he also agreed to help Gulf and Jaehoon move Mew to the 4th floor. With great caution, Gulf found Mew, who was still hiding inside the wardrobe, and urged him to come out. Mr. Kim then led the way to the 4th floor, with Gulf and Jaehoon helping Mew walk. Finally, they reached the 4th floor. Mr. Kim unlocked the door to the room, which had now become a storage area. The room was poorly lit, with only Mr. Kim's flashlight illuminating the space. As Mr. Kim was about to turn on the lights, Mew stopped him. Turn off the light. Mew then hobbled toward the window. He looked out and saw the police still patrolling around the Valen Crew dormitory. But just as Mew was about to walk back toward Gulf, he accidentally brushed against a book nearby. Thud, quiet, Mr. Kim whispered. Right below us is the library. You have to be very careful. After moving Mew to the 4th floor, Gulf had cleaned the floor by himself that night. Jaehoon had intended to help, but Gulf told him to return to his room as well as Mr. Kim. 4th floor room. Once Gulf had finished cleaning the room and not a speck of dust remained on the floor, he intended to leave and let Mew rest in the room. Mew continued to watch Gulf as he cleaned the room. His heart raced, and even the pain in his back seemed to disappear when he looked at Gulf's sweet face, which had only become sweeter over time. Gulf turned to Mew. I'm going back to my room. You can still bear the pain from last night, right? Mew nodded, but just as Gulf was about to open the door to leave, Mew spoke again. Can't you stay with me? No, Gulf replied, then closed the door, heading back to his room. As Gulf neared his room, he accidentally bumped into God, who seemed to have just finished a meeting with the other guards. God greeted him, surprised since it was so late. It was unusual for Gulf to be out of his room at this hour. Where have you been? Why are you sweating? I had a nightmare. Just came back from the bathroom. God nodded in understanding. Want to go back to the room together? Gulf had no choice but to agree to God's request. As they walked toward the room, Gulf had no intention of speaking, while God continued to chatter on about the police earlier. Eventually, they arrived at the room. Gulf told God that he wanted to go to bed immediately, and God had no choice but to let Gulf sleep, although God still remembered their conversation. The next morning, after Gulf finished his duties as a cook, he headed to the 4th floor with a first aid kit to treat Mew's wounds. Gulf felt nervous as his fingers touched Mew's body. It had been a long time since Gulf had seen gunshot wounds like this, and he felt a little scared and anxious about Mew's condition. Are you worried about me? Mew finally spoke, after having been silently observing Gulf's face. No, I just haven't seen gunshot wounds like this in a long time. Mew smiled faintly as he continued to look at Gulf. Once Gulf finished treating Mew's wounds, he felt stiff as he tried to tie the bandages around Mew's chest. Can you hold this for me? Mew complied. He held the top of the bandage to help. Golf wrapped the bandage he was holding up to Mew's waist then. Mew passed the bandage to Golf's shoulder-length hand. This continued until the bandage reached the top of Golf's hand. After the bandage reached the top, Golf moved his position from behind Mew's body to in front of Mew's face, making it easier for Mew to look back at Golf's face. Mew's heart skipped a beat. He smiled wryly at Golf's face that looked both anxious and exhausted. Do you still remember me? Golf looked back at Mew when Mew spoke to him. Be quiet. I'm having more and more trouble bandaging your wounds, he said, after which he refocused again on bandaging Mew's wound. After Golf finished bandaging Mew's wound, Golf now felt awkward. He just realized that his position was too close to Mew's face, but when Golf looked down, he saw the ring on Mew's ring finger. The ring was like a wedding ring, a couple's ring. Dread. Suddenly Golf's cell phone vibrated. He immediately reached for his cell phone inside his pants pocket. It said Mr. Lee. Golf quickly closed his phone when he realized that Mew was peeking at his phone. I'm going to take a call from someone. I'll be right back here again. Why outside? Just answer it here. No need to leave the room. So Mew, I guess I can't. Sorry. Golf said, after which he went out of the room to answer Mr. Lee's call. Hello, Golf, are you okay? I heard that a fugitive broke into your dormitory. Right, I'm fine. How is Kevin? Is he okay? Sorry for troubling you. Don't say that. Your son is also my grandson now. He keeps asking how you are, and last night, he couldn't sleep until this morning. I'll leave Kevin with you first, mister. It's still not safe here. Aren't you going to spend the night here? No, I want to help Shania's mom take care of the dorm. Alright, take care of yourself. Don't get hurt and make Kevin sad. Yes. Golf ended Mr. Lee's call and went back to his dormitory to get some food and bring it back to the 4th floor. Knock knock. Mew immediately covered the weapons he was carrying when he heard a knock on the door. Mew walked towards the door of the room and opened the door for Golf. Golf entered the room while carrying a bag containing some food. Golf sat on a big board in front of the window, followed by Mew, who sat in front of him. Golf opened the bag and showed Mew the amount of food he had brought. You must not have eaten anything. Eat it. You need to eat to recover quickly. I know the food I'm giving you won't fill you up, but at least it will satisfy your hunger, Golf said as he gave Mew a sandwich. Mew took Golf's gift, but he only held it and did not eat it immediately. Are you going to take care of me until I recover? Golf was silent for a moment. Yes, I will take care of you until you recover. So eat it. You still remember me? Can you bring me the newspaper when you come here? Golf let out a long breath. Newspaper? My friends are also being chased. I want to see what happened to them. Who knows, it's in the news. I'll bring you the newspaper. So, don't worry and eat. May I know the structure of the dorm? Golf was a little confused by Mew's question. To escape without being caught, I need to know what's where. Golf placed the bowl he was holding down with a clang and took a deep breath, causing Mew to stop talking. Seriously? I went through so much trouble to get breakfast twice. I even snuck around like a thief to get you lots of food. One of the canteen workers saw me. You see what I went through. So eat now. Golf protested when Mew kept talking to him and ignored the food he brought. Mew held back his laughter. Alright, I'll eat, he said. Then he ate the food Golf gave him. Golf smiled with relief. Mew smiled back when he saw the smile on Golf's face, a smile Golf never showed to anyone else. Somehow, Golf felt happy when Mew ate the food he made. You said you have a brother who was caught while he was in my world. Mew asked after swallowing the food in his mouth. You still remember that? I always remember everything you say. Golf was silent. Mew's words almost touched his heart. I'm sure he makes you very worried. You must be like a big brother. No, like a mother to him. Mew continued when Golf remained silent, not answering his words. Are you insulting me? Mew was confused. I'm a man. How can you say I'm like a mother to him? That's not what I meant. Your caring nature towards me makes me think that your brother must consider you as a mother to him. Mew clarified as he was afraid of making Golf angry. Golf was silent for a moment. You're right. He once said that. But how do you know? You forgot. I also have a younger sister, and she acts like my mother. Golf's face became gloomy. Don't forget to eat. Take care of yourself. Don't get hurt. Lots of nagging from her. Golf smiled at Mew's words because Pern treated her older brother, Mew, the same way. I learned from her. She told me to be more attentive to my brother back then. Mew smiled back. Your brother, who is still in my world, must be missing your nagging now. He deserves it. He always said he was tired of it. Golf tried to stay strong when he remembered his brother and his ex-girlfriend. That's right. I brought some things. I thought you might need them. Golf changed the subject. Golf took out the contents of the things he brought in his bag one by one. But I think you paid me too much. Then you have to recover quickly, so you can pay me back. Mew smiled happily. How? With what? Golf was confused, answering Mew's question. Is there anything specific you like? Like what? Something like dancing or singing. Something you're good at. Not a single one. None. Mew replied while nodding his head. Then learn something like that instead of being a bad person. Golf started to get a little annoyed. You're always boring. Continue. Again, Mew tried to hold back his laughter. Seeing Golf's facial expression when he was upset was adorable. His mouth was forward and his cheeks looked chubby. His eyelashes looked really long when Golf was upset. I'll be back. I still have a lot of work to do. Mew nodded and let Golf leave his room. But a few tens of minutes later, Golf came back again while carrying the items that Mew asked for. After which Golf immediately returned to the dormitory and did not want to go in first to accompany Mew because Golf still had a lot of work that he had not finished. After Golf's departure, Mew is now adjusting his radio to communicate with his friends. Golf, who is now assigned to guard the telephone operator's booth in the female dormitory, with Earth, who works as a telephone operator in the female dormitory. Earth catch him on it. Rumor has it that Earth has been harboring feelings for God for a long time, but God has yet to respond. There is one other rumor. Earth always admires when she sees a handsome man. That's right. Earth was a homosexual. I think Miss Shania suspects your room, Earth said with a very serious face. At first, Golf did not want to respond to what Earth said, but when it came to Mew somehow, Golf always wanted to know what Earth meant. What? What for? I don't know. Maybe because the police barged into your room. But he didn't say anything during his absence. Golf covered his panic. Earth laughed. Are you that afraid of Miss Shania? Golf was silent. Earth exhaled, but once you become her target, it becomes very scary. That's understandable. Earth yawned. God, I'm sick of this. I hope the fugitive is caught soon. She continued. Golf chose to remain silent. Earth took a business card from his pocket. They told me to call this number if I saw anyone suspicious. Earth showed the business card to Golf. If the information is useful, You will get 300 million. She continued. Gulf was silent. He was about to take the business card from Earth's hand, but Earth quickly pulled it back. My monthly salary is only 500 RB. If I get the reward, I can even go to Italy, Earth said. Gulf chose to remain silent when he heard Earth's bragging. Do you want to accompany me for a while? Asked Mew when Gulf was now delivering dinner for him. Gulf was silent as he looked back at Mew. Just for a moment, Mew said again. Gulf was silent, but he answered Mew's question with his behavior. Gulf went back to sit beside Mew to keep him company again. You haven't answered my question yet. Gulf turned his head back. I asked, do you still remember me? He continued. Gulf was silent. His gaze refocused downwards. Why? Answered Gulf, who was still bowing his head while fiddling with his fingers. It's nothing. I just wanted to make sure that you still remembered me. Gulf paused for a moment. Whether I still remember you or not, as time goes by I should still forget you. There's no point in you hanging around in my mind. Unfortunately, Gulf's words really pierced Mew's heart. I'm glad you're willing to talk casually with me. Gulf was silent. Are you really a fugitive? Gulf asked suddenly. Why are you going to kick me out when you find out that I'm a fugitive? No, I'm not. I promise you to take care of you until your wounds heal. I don't care if you're a fugitive or not, as long as you don't endanger the students in this dormitory. Can you look at me when you're talking to me? Gulf was silent. Gulf, please don't call me by that name again. Gulf raised his voice slightly. Sorry. Silence. Just tell me what you want to ask me. So Mew looked at Gulf, who was having trouble speaking. Is that ring your wedding ring with Alacia? Gulf finally said, because he kept failing to focus when he saw the ring on Mew's ring finger. Mew smiled wryly. What? This? He said while rubbing the ring on his finger. Yes. Oh, I see. Gulf turned his face away. For some reason, Gulf felt like he was annoyed, but also calm.